How a CEO's unexpected compliment transformed my life from maid to boss in just 3 days. Emma's heart raced as she scrubbed the gleaming marble floors of the high-end hotel lobby. The sun poured through the glass doors, bathing her in a golden light that felt both welcoming and unforgiving. Here she was, a 30-year-old single mother, exhausted from juggling 2 jobs to provide for her 2 beautiful kids, Mia and Noah. Her heart ached with love for them, but burdened by the sheer weight of her endless responsibilities. Did anyone see her beyond the uniform of a maid? Panic fluttered in her chest. Just then, Mr. Thompson, the visiting CEO, known for his sharp wit, walked in. He was like a gazelle approaching her in the wild. For a second, she wanted to disappear, to melt into the shiny floor beneath her. But instead, he paused, his eyes meeting hers. "You have the hardest job in the building, and I admire your dedication," he said, a genuine smile lighting up his face. Those few words let a spark of light ignite in Emma's heart, a flicker of self-worth she hadn't felt in ages. But that warmth quickly faded. Behind the front desk, the hotel management glanced at their watches, and their looks of disdain cut through the moment. They feared her rising potential, a threat to their status quo. And soon after, whispered reminders of her place in their world reached her. "Just a maid," they'd pointedly say, leaving Emma frazzled and lost. Fear and frustration swirled around her like a tempest, battling with the joyous sound of her children's laughter echoing in her memories. Yet Mr. Thompson's compliment became a lifeline. With swirling uncertainty, the thought of pursuing her dreams pushed to the forefront of her mind. After all, hadn't she sacrificed everything for Mia and Noah? Their bright smiles were her guides. With her mind racing, she pictured first steps toward a better future for her family. Big dreams seemed so close, yet so far. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Days rolled on, and Emma's resolve grew. The neighborhood noticed her transformation. Neighbors offered words of encouragement, friends rallied behind her, pushing her to fight for what she deserved. They whispered at the playground, "If anyone can do it, it's Emma." Those words became a balm for her doubts. A community began to form around her, igniting discussions about equality and the struggles of working-class families, echoing in the homes of those who had weathered similar storms. But just as Emma felt ready to leap, reality pulled her back. Balancing dreams against responsibilities was a tightrope walk of fear. Would she have to sacrifice the warmth of her home for ambitious pursuits? The hotel management tightened their grip, their whispers now thunders. As the pressure mounted, Emma stood at the precipice of transformation. With her community's support, her dreams pressed against her heart. The tension hung heavy in the air. What would she choose? And could she truly break free from the chains binding her? The stakes had never been higher. The supportive voices of her friends and the laughter of Mia and Noah filled the room, but Emma was left with a singular thought. Could she transform her fate in a world that often overlooked her? The answer remained just out of reach, leaving the community and readers alike holding their breath, eager to discover her next move. The following week was a whirlwind. Emma found herself torn between dreams and duties, each demanding her attention like competing children. Every morning she would wake before dawn, her mind racing with possibilities fueled by conversations with her friends. Yet exhaustion always tugged at her like a relentless shadow. She could feel the pulse of ambition thumping in her chest, yet the voice of doubt echoed loudly, drowning out her aspirations with, "You're just a maid." Each time she walked through the hotel lobby, she stole glances at Mr. Thompson, who still floated in and out of the hotel like a beacon of inspiration. His presence served as both a reminder of what could be and a reflection of her current reality. He charmed guests and sealed deals, but to Emma, he was something more, a bridge to a world where she could be more than her current title. But how could she approach him? Would he even remember the maid whose eyes he'd once met? One evening, as she tucked Mia and Noah into bed, a flurry of emotions swelled in her heart. She watched them drift off, their hands wrapped around the plush toys she'd saved every penny to buy. Their dreams were limitless. She wanted the same for them. But how could she make it all happen? Love alone didn't pay the bills. As she sat by their bedside, tears prickled her eyes. The innocent dreams of her children pressed heavy on her heart. She made a decision. Every night, she would jot down her ideas in a tattered notepad she had tucked away since college, a relic of old dreams. Could she start a side business? Could she pitch some of her ideas to the hotel management? Flashes of inspiration surged through her. What if she began an event planning service for local families? Her heart raced at the thought, but so did the fear of stepping into the unknown. Then came the day when Mr. Thompson returned for another meeting. Emma stood still, the vacuum in her hand like a shield against her fears. He caught her eye, and for a heartbeat, the world around her faded. "Emma, right?" he called out, his voice breaking the spell. She nodded, her heart hammering in her chest. "How's everything going?" "Busy as ever," she replied, forcing a smile, her voice barely above a whisper. The moment was electric, yet all she could feel was the weight of the uniform she wore. "Keep up the good work," he said, flashing that same encouraging grin. But this time it didn't feel like enough. It was less about recognition and more about action. Courage gripped her as she imagined his face lighting up with approval if she could just show him what she envisioned. Emma's mind buzzed as he walked away. Everything she needed to reach for was just beyond her grasp. But how could she approach him? In the quiet of the night, with her notepad open in front of her, she penned her thoughts and dreams, weaving them into a plan. Each word felt like a thread stitching a new future, one that would weave its way beyond the confines of her uniform. But early morning stillness was shattered by a call from the hotel. "We've noticed some changes in your work, and we'd like to talk." Emma felt her heart seize. Just as it seemed she was ready to take a step towards her dreams, would they pull the rug out from under her? The choice loomed ahead, heavy with implications. Would she shrink back, or would she bravely step forward into the unknown? As the sun broke out, sending streaks of light through her window, she realized her moment was fast approaching. What would happen when she faced them? The truth awaited just around the corner, and Emma had to decide if it was time to claim her place or retreat once again into the shadows. Emma sat on the edge of her bed, the phone still buzzing in her hand. Those words, "We'd like to talk," echoed in her mind, filling her with a mix of excitement and dread. It felt like the universe was offering her a chance, but could she really seize it? She took a deep breath, studying herself. What if this was it? What if they wanted to promote her? But then again, there was the other side. What if they were unhappy with her work? The fear squeezed her chest. With shaky hands, she scribbled her dreams down in her notepad again. What if the changes in her work they noticed were her budding ideas? Surely someone had to see that she was putting in the effort and dreaming of more. But the reality still loomed over her, the nagging voice whispering, "You're just a maid." After dragging herself through her morning routine, Emma entered the hotel lobby, her heart heavy and mind racing. The air felt electric with potential. She spotted Mr. Thompson across the room, deep in conversation with He looked so at ease, so confident. "Emma?" The familiar voice startled her, and she turned to see Lisa, the hotel manager. "I wanted to talk to you about your recent performance. Can we step into my office?" Every step felt like eternity. Was this a good meeting or a bad one? The door clicked shut behind her, and she was suddenly enveloped in the confines of her worries. Lisa gestured for her to sit, but Emma's stomach twisted with anticipation. "First, I want to acknowledge the hard work you've been putting in," Lisa began. Emma's heart skipped a beat. "We've seen a noticeable improvement in your attitude and efficiency. It's refreshing." Emma's breath caught. Had she really made that much of an impact? Relief mingled with a flicker of hope. Actually, Lisa continued, we're thinking of promoting you to a coordinator position for our new event planning service. Your ideas about family events were impressive. Would you be interested? The words crashed into Emma like a wave, overwhelming her senses. She blinked, struggling to absorb this unexpected opportunity. Me? A coordinator? Her voice trembled with disbelief. Yes, you've got the creativity and the drive. It's time for you to spread your wings. You'll be leading the team. Emma's eyes widened. This was everything she dreamt of. All those late nights spent jotting down her plans, all those moments of fear and doubt, it was finally paying off. But a thread of uncertainty pulled at her too. But I'm still new to this. What if I fail? You won't, Lisa said firmly, her confidence shining. You'll grow into this role. I believe in you, Emma. With those words, a spark ignited within her. This was her chance to rewrite her narrative. As Lisa outlined the details, everything else faded away. The hotel, the guests, her past doubts. This was about her future. After the meeting, Emma left Lisa's office in a daze. She was filled with an exhilarating mix of anxiety and excitement. She could finally dream beyond the title of maid, could finally be someone who mattered, someone who created. But as the day passed and her new role settled in, the question simmered in the back of her mind. What would Mr. Thompson think of her now? If they crossed paths again, how would she prove she was ready for this change? Staring out at the bustling hotel lobby, a burst of determination swelled in her chest. She wouldn't let fear hold her back. As she turned to head back to her duties, knowing it was time to own her new reality, Emma caught a glimpse of Mr. Thompson as he entered the hotel. Their eyes met briefly. There was something in that moment, a recognition. Would she be ready to show him her true self? The future unfurled before her, filled with possibilities. But one question lingered. Could she truly step into her new identity and not only change her own life, but inspire others too? Emma stepped into the back office, her heart pounding in a rhythm she could barely control. Everything felt different now. The cramped space with its overstuffed filing cabinets and cluttered countertops suddenly felt like a launching pad for her dreams. She could almost hear the faint sound of fireworks in the back of her mind, celebrating the sheer thrill of possibility. With renewed energy, she unwrapped her notepad from her bag, flipping to the section where she had scribbled her ideas. They were fresh, bubbling up from a well of hope she hadn't known existed before today. She bit her lip, feeling a rush of inspiration. Family reunion weekend, summer festival extravaganza, and holiday market magic. Each title spoke back to her. This was more than just wishful thinking. It was potential waiting to be shaped into something real. Just as she was fully engrossed in her planning, the door swung open. It was Lisa with a bright smile, carrying a stack of papers. Emma, I want to introduce you to your team. Her excitement was contagious, and Emma's stomach fluttered. Really? My team? Just like that? Emma felt the rush again, an intoxicating blend of anxiety and excitement swirling inside. Absolutely. You're running the show now, Lisa said, her enthusiasm unwavering. You've got a real chance to showcase who you are, what you can do. They need to see your vision. Emma followed Lisa down the narrow hallways and into a modest conference room. 4 people were seated around a table, chatting and flipping through paperwork. They looked up as Lisa entered, their faces curious. Team, I want you to meet your new coordinator, Emma, Lisa announced triumphantly. For a moment, Emma froze, the gravity of the introduction washing over her. What if they didn't take her seriously? What if they saw a maid instead of a coordinator? But as she locked eyes with them, something deep inside told her she was ready. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to work with you all, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. I've got some ideas I'd love to implement together. Welcome aboard, one of the team members, a young woman named Clara, said with a warm smile. I heard you have some fresh perspectives. We could really use them. The affirmation hit Emma like a breath of fresh air. In that small room, every smile lit her up a little more. As they began discussing their upcoming event plans, Emma felt the familiar buzz of creativity coursing through her veins. Ideas flowed like she was in a current, and she could feel the spark of collaboration igniting the atmosphere. Yet, as the meeting continued, her mind drifted back to the moment she had shared with Mr. Thompson. Would he recognize her in this new role? Would he see the transformation, or just the same old Emma he had known? After the meeting wrapped up, Clara approached her with curiosity. "Hey, Emma, I haven't seen you around much. How long have you worked here?" "Just over a year," Emma said, her stomach tightening a bit as she recalled all the times she had felt invisible while cleaning rooms. "But I'm ready to really make an impact now." "That's the spirit. I can feel the energy in you already," Clara said, her enthusiasm bolstering Emma's confidence. As they chatted, she felt a part of something dynamic, a belonging she hadn't anticipated. But still, lingering in the back of her mind was that flicker of doubt. Could she keep it up? Was this just a fleeting moment of confidence before the reality of her old life crept back in? The more she engaged with her new colleagues, the more the idea took root that she could redefine herself. Perhaps it wasn't just about proving herself to Mr. Thompson, it was about proving herself to herself. That night, as Emma lay in bed, she contemplated the path ahead. If she could continue harnessing this energy, if she could embrace her identity as a coordinator, then perhaps she truly could inspire others. But just as sleep threatened to pull her under, a new thought jolted her awake. What if Mr. Thompson asked for her opinion on a big project? Would she be ready to step up and meet that moment? The anticipation danced around her thoughts as she closed her eyes. The challenge awaited, and she could feel it tugging at her heart. The next day would be different. It needed to be. And as she drifted off, determined to rise to meet whatever came her way, the question hung in the air. How would she prepare for the spotlight that was steadily moving toward her? The morning sun crept through Emma's bedroom window, washing over her with a golden light. She woke up with a sense of determination, each ray igniting her ambition. Today would set the tone for everything that followed. She swung her legs off the bed and felt the rush of air hit her skin, a small thrill that fueled her spirit. Rushing through her morning routine, she chose a tailored outfit that made her feel empowered. In the mirror, she practiced her smile, imagining the faces of her team lighting up when she shared her ideas. Confidence wrapped around her like a shield, and she could already picture presenting her concepts, every vision transforming into reality. Arriving at the office, Emma's heart raced as she navigated through the familiar hallways. Each corner felt charged with expectancy. This was it. As she entered the conference room, she noticed her team was already gathered, excited chatter filling the air. Clara waved her over, her enthusiasm lighting up the room. "Good morning, Emma. We were just talking about the session today," Clara said, her voice bubbling with energy. "Yeah, what do you think we should focus on first?" another team member, Jake, asked, leaning forward. Emma took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their eyes on her. This was her moment. "I think we should start with the family reunion session." Weekend! It's a chance to engage our community, bring families together, make it fun and memorable. The words tumbled from her lips, each one solid and sure. The team nodded, their expressions shifting from curiosity to intrigue. Clara chimed in, "Absolutely. That could really set the tone for summer activities. I love it." Emma felt the spark of approval ignite within her. They were with her. No longer was she just cleaning rooms, she was creating experiences. The conversations flowed, ideas mingled, and suggestions bounced around like a lively game. Each contribution felt like a step forward, a confirmation she was exactly where she needed to be. As the meeting progressed, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Mr. Thompson. If he was reaching out, it had to mean something significant. She glanced at her screen, her heart skipping a beat. He wanted to meet later to discuss the upcoming major project. "Is everything okay?" Clara asked, noticing Emma's sudden change in demeanor. Yes, just a meeting with Mr. Thompson later, she replied, trying to mask her nerves. But inside, a storm of thoughts surged. Would he be pleased with her ideas? Would he recognize how much she had changed? The rest of the meeting flew by, filled with planning and brainstorming, but Emma's mind kept drifting back to that looming engagement. As they finalized plans for the family reunion weekend, she felt the thrill of the new role settling deep within her. When the meeting ended, the team buzzed with excitement. They rallied around the idea of bringing the community together, and Emma couldn't help but be swept away by their collective energy. It felt good, no, incredible, to be leading this group. They poured out ideas, their creativity blending seamlessly with hers, and Emma realized they were building something special, something they could all be proud of. As the day wore on, Emma felt her confidence growing, yet thoughts of Mr. Thompson loomed larger. What if this wasn't enough? A voice in her head whispered doubts. Would he believe in her the same way her team did? When the clock struck 3, it was time for her appointment. With every step towards his office, her heart pounded like a drum. The door loomed ahead, a threshold between who she was and who she was becoming. She steeled herself, taking a deep breath to steady her racing heart. As she reached for the doorknob, a flutter of anxiety washed over her. The conversation would hold a magnitude she couldn't quite grasp yet. Would she be able to express herself fully? Or would the old Emma, the timid cleaner, claw back into view? She pushed the door open, stepping inside. Mr. Thompson looked up from his desk, a curious smile on his face. "Ah, Emma, I've been looking forward to our chat." The words hung in the air like a promise. A crucial moment awaited. Emma smiled back, her heart racing not with fear, but with the anticipation of unveiling the new her. Would she impress him? Would he see her as she now saw herself? The answer felt just out of reach, and the tension of everything she wanted to become hung in the air. Emma took a moment to collect her thoughts. The office felt both intimidating and inviting. Mr. Thompson's desk was cluttered with papers and documents, a stark contrast to the sharpness of his tailored suit. He leaned back in his chair, studying her, and Emma could sense the weight of his gaze. "Please, sit," he said, gesturing to the chair opposite him. Emma settled down, heart hammering in her chest. She didn't want to appear overly eager, but her mind raced with excitement and anxious anticipation. "I've heard a lot about you from Clara," he began, a slight smile playing on his lips. "Your ideas during the meeting today were impressive." His tone was warm. It felt like an unexpected hug on a chilly day. "Thank you," she managed, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside her. "I believe the family reunion weekend can create a strong community connection." "Exactly," he interrupted, nodding. "You have a vision, which leads me to why I wanted to meet. You're in line to take on more responsibilities soon." The words struck Emma like a bolt of lightning. She blinked, momentarily stunned. "More responsibilities?" she echoed, a mix of disbelief and hope coursing through her. "Yes, I'd like you to lead that project. I believe you can make it a success," he replied, his eyes boring into hers with sincerity. Emma's heart soared. This was the moment she dreamed of, the validation she craved. Yet a flicker of doubt danced behind her excitement. "But I'm still new in the team. What if I mess it up?" Mr. Thompson leaned forward, his expression intense. "Emma, everyone here has faith in you. You've evolved from merely completing tasks to crafting ideas that inspire. Just believe in yourself. That's the key." His words felt like lifeblood. They filled her with a renewed sense of purpose. As she absorbed his confidence in her potential, a newfound resolve ignited. "I won't let you down," she affirmed, warmth buzzing through her from her heart to her fingertips. "Excellent. We'll talk more about the details in the coming days," he said, his enthusiasm palpable. "Now, go and shine. The team is lucky to have you." She stood, her knees feeling weightless, like walking on air. As she walked back to her team, a smile bubbled up uncontrollably. News of her impending opportunity danced in her mind. But she noticed something she hadn't earlier, a shift in how she carried herself, a lightness that hadn't existed before, an unshakable faith in her abilities. As she rejoined her team, Clara caught her eye. "What did he say? You look like you just won the lottery," she beamed, glancing around to the others. They leaned in expectantly. "I'm going to lead the family reunion weekend project," Emma announced, pride swelling in her chest as the words spilled out. The room erupted in cheers, the sound echoing like music. Time seemed to freeze in that moment of solidarity, smiles and high fives exchanged like precious gifts. Emma felt like she had finally found a place where she belonged. A sense of community and purpose cocooned her. But as the laughter faded and conversations swirled around her, a different thought crept in. The weight of expectations loomed. Could she truly meet them? The stakes felt higher than ever, and suddenly doubt shadowed her otherwise buoyant spirit. Emma glanced around the room, meeting the encouraging eyes of her team, and steadied herself. Although the path ahead was uncharted, she was ready to embrace it, prepare for the obstacles, and fight through the waves of self-doubt. But what would she discover about herself in this new role? Her heart danced with anticipation and fear, knowing that this journey was just beginning. Somewhere in the depths of her thoughts, a flicker of realization bloomed. Transformation wasn't just about external validation, it was an internal battle as well. And with that thought, Emma felt the determination rise again. She wouldn't just lead a project, she would redefine her life. As Emma stepped back into the buzz of activity around her, a mix of hope and fear coursed through her veins. The challenge ahead sparked both excitement and anxiety, propelling her toward uncertain but promising horizons. Now she had to decide. Was she ready to fully embrace the challenge and become the leader they believed she could be? Emma spent the rest of the day in a haze of exhilaration and self-doubt. As she sorted through her tasks at her desk, her mind danced between thoughts of the project and worries about whether she truly had what it takes. Her fingers skimmed over the keyboard, but instead of typing, they drummed nervously against the desk. "Hey, Earth to Emma!" Clara's voice broke through her reverie, pulling Emma back into the moment. She looked up to see Clara leaning against the cubicle wall, arms crossed, a playful grin on her face. "You've been smiling like a Cheshire cat all day. What's going on?" Emma glanced around to make sure no one else was listening, then leaned in, lowering her voice. "I'm leading the family reunion weekend project." Clara's eyes widened, sparkling with excitement. "No way! That's amazing! I knew you could do it. Just remember, no pressure." Emma chuckled despite her brewing anxiety. "Yeah, no pressure at all." She tried to match Clara's excitement, but felt the familiar knot tightening in her stomach. Later that evening, Emma sat in her modest apartment, trying to focus on a detailed plan for the project. The sun sank beyond the horizon, painting the sky a soft orange. She brewed a cup of tea, hoping it would soothe her nerves. With each sip, though, her worries swirled like the steam rising from the cup. What if things fell apart? What if the team didn't take crazily? Deep breaths, she reminded herself. But moments of clarity were fleeting amidst the noise in her mind. She picked up her notebook, where she had scribbled her ideas during the initial brainstorming sessions. Details began to fade, and new ideas rushed in, yet self-doubt stole her focus. Then her phone chimed. It was a message from Mr. Thompson. "Thinking of you as you prepare. Remember, you've got a great team behind you. Don't hesitate to reach out for support." His words felt like a lifebuoy in a turbulent sea. She paused, reading and rereading the message. It reminded her that she didn't have to navigate this alone. She could lean on her team, just as they had leaned on her today. With renewed vigor, Emma jotted down her thoughts for the project. Brainstorming turned into an enthusiastic list of ideas, strategies, and even some fun activities to foster connections. Her heart raced again, the thrill of possibility igniting her spirit. That weekend felt like an avalanche of ideas tumbling from her mind to the page. Emma called everyone she felt comfortable with on the team, bouncing ideas off them as their enthusiasm blended into her own. They threw out suggestions for icebreaker games, activities for families, and ways to involve the local community. Each call fueled her confidence a little more. Midweek, with the deadline for the proposal approaching, Emma found herself surrounded by countless documents, papers strewn across her desk like a chaotic map. One thought circled back. She had to make a compelling case for why this project was vital. She crafted her pitch with precision, but as she ran through it in her mind, the doubts returned. What if she pitched it wrong? What if the team felt she was underqualified? On the day of the pitch, her stomach twisted in knots. Standing in front of the group, the familiar sensation of butterflies took flight. But as she saw Clara's encouraging nod and Mr. Thompson's reassuring smile, a spark ignited within her. "I believe we can make this family reunion weekend amazing," she started, her voice quaking only slightly. "It's about creating lasting memories and bonds that strengthen our community." As she spoke, something shifted. The quiet buzz of excitement among her colleagues charged the air with a collective energy that filled her with courage. Each word she spoke felt more empowered, wrapping around her confidence like a warm embrace. After her presentation, feedback flew in from every angle, ideas sparking and illuminating possibilities. But just as Emma felt energized by the positive responses, Clara raised a hand. "But what's your plan B? What if?" Emma took a deep breath, heart racing. Clara's words hung like a weight. Was she ready to face what ifs? With a solid nod, she replied, "We'll adapt together. No one is alone in this." Yet, as the applause poured in moments later, doubt nestled back in. Her journey had just begun, and now she had to face the uncertainty. Head on. Would her vision be strong enough to hold? Emma stood there, a mix of gratitude and anxiety bubbling inside her. As the team began to gather their notes and shuffle out, an unexpected question loomed large. Could she rise through this transformation and rise above? The next chapter of her life was unwritten, filled with potential and uncertainty. But Emma was ready to write it, one bold step at a time. What was next for Emma as the real challenges began to unfold? Emma woke the next morning to the sound of her alarm blaring. She blinked at the ceiling, the weight of her recent challenges pressing down on her. Today marked the beginning of a new phase, and she could almost feel the pulse of her responsibilities echoing in her chest. In the bathroom, she splashed cold water on her face, hoping to shake off the lingering hints of doubt that clouded her mind. The reflection staring back at her looked weary but determined. She put on her favorite cobalt blue blouse, a color that always seemed to draw out her confidence. After a quick breakfast, she clutched her bag tightly as she stepped out her front door. The crisp morning air filled her lungs, giving her a boost of energy. As she walked to work, the world felt vibrant and full of possibilities. It was a good reminder that she was not alone in this journey, even if fear sometimes wrapped its fingers around her heart. Emma entered the office building, greeted by the familiar faces of her colleagues. Today, she felt different, as if the weight of impending tasks was a badge of honor rather than a burden. She headed to her cubicle, determined to shift her focus to executing her ideas for the reunion weekend. "Ready for round 2? Clara said, popping her head over the cubicle wall. Her eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. Emma smiled, feeling that warmth again. "More than ready. I feel like we can really pull this off." The two dived into discussions as the day progressed. They brainstormed logistics, creating timelines, and setting up meetings with local vendors. It was exhilarating, and for the first time, Emma noticed how alive she felt when she collaborated with her team. As lunchtime rolled around, the entire team gathered around, sharing sandwiches and excitement for the project. Laughter filled the room, and Emma allowed herself to embrace the camaraderie. Each voice added color to her vision. They discussed old family traditions and creative ways to celebrate every team member's unique background. But the joy of the moment was punctured when her phone buzzed. It was an email from her boss, asking for a meeting to discuss the project proposal. The weight of uncertainty settled back in her chest. Had she truly impressed him? What if he highlighted her weaknesses instead of her strengths? The meeting felt like a mountain looming ahead. Emma's palms grew clammy, her confidence falteringly slipping away. Once inside the conference room, the walls seemed to close in, the polished table reflecting not just light, but her simmering self-doubt. Mr. Thompson entered, a smile on his face, which briefly eased her nerves. "Emma," he began, sitting across from her, "I've reviewed your proposal." The room fell steadily silent, her heart thumping with anticipation. Honestly, I'm impressed with how much thought and effort you've put into this. The community involvement aspect is especially intriguing. His words washed over her like a wave, a mixture of relief and disbelief flooding in. Did he really mean it? But before she could get too lost in the moment, he continued, "That said, I need to challenge you further. How do you plan to ensure everything runs smoothly if unexpected issues arise?" Emma felt the familiar knot in her stomach tighten. The weight of Clara's earlier question pressed against her mind. "Plan B," she murmured. Mr. Thompson leaned in. "If you can answer that convincingly, I'm confident we'll be able to take this project to unprecedented heights when it actually happens." Emma took a deep breath. It was time to tackle the what-ifs. "Well, I believe in a solid communication plan. If we have contingency strategies in place, our team can pivot quickly, adapting as needed." The words flowed more naturally now, her passion seeping through each idea. As the meeting wrapped up, Mr. Thompson stood, extending his hand. "You've got this. I believe in you. Just remember to bring the team along with you. Together, you can create something truly special." The weight began to lift, hope flooding in where fear had thrived. But beneath that rising hope, another feeling crept in. What if she couldn't keep up with the expectations that had suddenly shifted? Emma left the meeting with a spark lit within her. However, the nagging question remained. Could she really keep the momentum going? As she stepped onto the elevator, she couldn't shake the feeling that the tide was turning. But would she be able to ride the wave or be swept under? Uncertainty lingered in the air. What could possibly be next after such a monumental day? Emma sat at her desk, the glow of the computer screen illuminating her face, the faint echoes of the office swirling around her. Her heart still raced from the meeting with Mr. Thompson. The idea that he believed in her sparked something deep within, a flicker of strength against the doubts that threatened to rear their heads once again. As the team gathered for their afternoon planning session, Emma found herself brimming with ideas. She chatted with Clara and the others, infusing energy into the room. What if we add a talent showcase to the reunion? Everyone can celebrate their talents. It'll engage our community even more. Clara clapped, her eyes widening. Yes, we should also include food stalls featuring recipes from everyone's families. That could be amazing. The more they discussed, the more Emma felt the shadows dissipate. Together, they were pregnant with creativity, laughter spilling like sunlight across their efforts. Every suggestion built upon the last, forming a tapestry of enthusiasm and unity. But even as joy thrummed in her veins, a whisper of anxiety tugged at her mind. What if the overwhelming momentum fell apart? The what-ifs began to crowd her thoughts until she felt a prick of nervousness again. Could she handle taking the lead? What if the ideas fizzled out? That evening, as Emma returned home, thoughts tumbled like leaves in the wind. The air was cooler now, a prelude to autumn. She couldn't help but think of her mother's words from years ago. "You're stronger than you think, Emma. Don't let fear steal your dreams." Gathering her courage, she picked up her phone. "Clara, can we meet tomorrow morning? I want us to go over everything before our next proposal to Mr. Thompson." "Absolutely. Can't wait to hear more of your ideas," Clara replied immediately, a buoying message that added fuel to Emma's fire. That night, she struggled to sleep, her mind swirling with visions of the reunion. Each time she closed her eyes, she saw herself standing on a stage, addressing a crowd that encapsulated the warmth she felt among her team. Each idea transformed into a vibrant image, painting a future that pulsed with potential. But just like that, doubt reared again. What would happen if it didn't go as planned? What if she tripped over her words or forgot a crucial detail? Would her colleagues look at her differently? A sigh escaped her lips in the silence of her darkened room. Morning arrived too soon. Emma's heart fluttered nervously as she prepared for her day. With a quick glance at her reflection, she reminded herself, confidence is a choice. She donned that cobalt blue blouse once again and tucked in a determined smile. Clara was already at the cafe when Emma arrived, bubbling with excitement. After ordering their coffees, they settled down at a corner table, a light buzz surrounding them. Emma couldn't help but feel the weight of possibility hanging in the air, a fresh start materializing with every sip of coffee. All right, let's make this planning session epic, Clara beamed, and Emma's heart soared. As they dove into the details, Emma found herself drawing from the sparks of creativity and enthusiasm shared in their brainstorming sessions. The ideas flowed freely, each one building on the last until they were practically a chorus of voices harmonizing together. Yet, just as Emma started to feel invincible, a familiar worry cropped up again, gnawing at her. What if, amid all this excitement, she didn't live up to the project? Before she could spiral, Clara stopped her mid-thought. Hey, remember, this is about all of us. We're in this together. You aren't alone. You're right, Emma replied, allowing the reassurance to wash over her. But still, I don't know how I'll handle things if something goes wrong. They discussed strategies, sharing what-ifs and plans like a puzzle being pieced together. The conversation was healthy, empowering. Slowly, Emma felt the anxiety ebbing away, replaced by the collective energy of their shared mission. The session ended with a sense of purpose. As they made their way back to the office, the two of them brimming with ideas and confidence, the world felt wide open. Everything was falling into place. But just as Emma settled back into her routine, an email pinged in her inbox. The subject line read, "Unexpected opportunity." Her heart raced as she clicked it open, eager to discover what lay ahead. What could this opportunity mean for her and the project? A rush of excitement filled her, but a flicker of anticipation danced in her chest. The real challenge was yet to come. Would this be the turning point she had been waiting for, or just another obstacle to navigate? Emma's heart raced as she opened the email, anticipation swirling inside her like a storm. The words jumped off the screen. Mr. Thompson wanted to meet with her to discuss the family reunion weekend project. Bright illustrations of what that meeting could mean flooded her mind. If only last year she could have imagined this moment, standing on the edge of something transformative, a chance to prove her worth. But could she actually do it? The what-ifs tugged at her, but today felt different. She wasn't going to turn back. She had already come too far. That evening, as she prepared for the meeting, Emma pulled out the notepad filled with her notes and dreams. Each idea represented a piece of her journey, each word a testament to her growth. Did she dare to believe she could be more than just a maid? When Emma stepped into Mr. Thompson's office, the air was thick with anticipation. He was already seated, reviewing documents, and Emma took a moment to steady herself before entering. His gaze lifted to meet hers, a glimmer of approval shining through. "Glad you could make it, Emma," he said, motioning for her to sit. "I've heard great things about your proposal. We're excited about your vision." The compliment washed over her like the warmth of sun on a cool autumn day. Emma's voice trembled slightly as she replied, "Thank you. I believe this project can strengthen our bonds with the community." As she spoke, something inside her shifted. The nerves began to transform into passion. She described her plans with enthusiasm, weaving in the ideas she and Clara had brainstormed. Ideas of family traditions woven into the event, food stalls highlighting local recipes, and activities that celebrated the spirit of unity filled the space like colorful fireworks. Mr. Thompson listened intently, occasionally nodding, and Emma felt his belief in her ignite her confidence further. When she paused, he leaned forward, his eyes locked onto hers. "Emma, your vision is important. It resonates with what we've been aiming for. I want you to take the lead on this project. You'll have support, remember." That! Joy burst within her, a wild firework display of triumph dancing in her heart. She was no longer just the maid. She was being recognized for her vision, her dedication. "Thank you. I won't let you down," Emma breathed, her heart swelling with gratitude and determination. Leaving his office, she felt lighter, almost buoyant. The familiar office walls felt different now. They were no longer a cage, but a launching pad, ready to propel her into new heights. As the weeks unfolded, Emma poured herself into the family reunion weekend. She brainstormed tirelessly with her team, a blend of excitement and collaboration filling the air. The planning sessions turned into vibrant showcases of creativity, a mix of laughter and camaraderie that lit her spirit. Yet, amid the strides forward, shadows occasionally flickered in her mind. What if something goes wrong? Echoed like a ghost in the corners of her thoughts. But with every worry, her teammates rallied around her, their laughter and encouragement grounding her in their shared purpose. And as the date of the reunion approached, Emma's enthusiasm blossomed. She watched as the community engaged and responded with anticipation, their excitement infectious. Each family that signed up felt like a personal victory. The event was shaping up to be a gathering of joy, creating connections across communities, each moment breathing life into the vision she and her friends had crafted together. Finally, the day arrived. As Emma stood at the venue, taking in the vibrant scenes around her, the banners fluttering, children laughing, families reconnecting, her heart swelled with pride. This was her moment to shine, to showcase not only her skills, but her growth. When Mr. Thompson arrived, she could see the satisfaction on his face as he surveyed the joyful chaos. Emma approached him, a radiant smile lighting up her features. "This is just the beginning, isn't it?" she asked, her voice filled with hope. He returned her smile, eyes twinkling. "Absolutely. This is a testament to what happens when ambition meets community." Tears of joy pricked her eyes, and for the first time, Emma truly understood. Transformation had taken root not just in her career, but within herself. She was not just a future leader, but an inspiration, a reminder of overcoming boundaries for those who had come before her. As laughter danced in the air around her, she realized how far she had come. Encouraging voices from her children, her trusted friends, and her determined efforts now echoed within her chest. She glanced at her kids, Mia and Noah, playing together, and knew this was not just for her, but for them, a future painted with possibilities. Emma took a deep breath, feeling the weight of triumph settle around her shoulders. One thing was clear. She had not just survived, she had found her place in the world. Her story would continue to evolve, but the message would remain. She was more than just a maid. She was Emma, and her journey had only just begun. Now, let's keep this momentum going. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and support your favorite channel. Leave a comment below with your reactions and feelings about this incredible transformation. And don't wait, not even one more second, to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this journey. Your support makes all the difference.